Give this a shot. Okay, I have spawned in 3 copies of my work in progress of the Outreach base, based on some recommendations and thoughts that, let's see, it was from Sephrajin, I'm not sure I pronounced that right, Siege Inc., and StyleBBQ. So they had some suggestions in their post that from there I tried spawning in some bases, but let me give you a little quick here tour, because I'm going to use a small vessel here because it moves around a little faster than even God mode with. So I appreciate the recommendation for using God mode for getting around without the noise of the backpack, but in this case I want us to as you notice, that one ended up spawned in the ground pretty much. As I've been playing with the structural integrity for some bit here, I've noticed that that really doesn't make much of a difference with the problem I've been experiencing. So what we have here is we have I believe the one in the middle is a base that I, as much as I could, from my, have my character float on up here over there where I was going to spawn it, and spawn to the base as much as I could towards the center of the area. I suppose if I go with some sort of third-person view, there might have been a way to look straight down, but as it was, it only let me look mostly down unless I went with the drone. Over here I did the recommendation of the F2 menu, double clicking on the blueprint, selecting I believe it's flattened terrain, setting another parameter on it, and then here the one in the ground. This one, well, it kind of ended up in the ground partly because as I was about to summon it, I kind of had a feeling that I was really on a slope here. I was actually standing pretty darn close to this base, the edge of that base there, stuff. And then what I did is I sent my drone over as far as it could go. So as you're kind of you're losing contact with your drone, and that's when I spawned the base. Well, okay, let's turn my small vessel here. So hover for us for a little bit, and let's turn on show and structural integrity. Of course, this is only really going to properly show for the bases. The capital vessel and the small vessel are not going to properly render their structural integrity. And the little red dot on there is actually a small hover vessel I use to mine out or dig out some of that base so that we could actually see these corners because they were buried. So over here, okay, here the one, and where I actually was over the center of the base. This one actually looks like the people are alright on the right track for this one, because the base is properly showing the structural integrity here. So I'm like, whoa, this is very good. I like that. I like it. It's very encouraging. I may have my ground bases after all, especially since I'm really not planning to move my ground bases any much bigger than this. So that pad is 50 blocks by 70 blocks with the add-on for our hangar, our terminal, and a small tower. So yeah, that was very encouraging. So I'm probably going to, with that sort of results here, I'm probably going to patch up that hole there, so that I don't, on the premise that I don't need access to underneath the base to try to fix it up. And at this point, with something like that, yeah, I can live with that. I just have to figure out how to get over the center of the base for spawning it. This over here, where I had it level the terrain, the result seems to be a little better than what I've been experiencing on the stuff. but I'm not, with only having done it once, I can't be entirely sure. But as we can see, even though this stuff is right on the smack on the ground or coming out of the ground, it still fails here. So it could be that my base is just too big. Maybe if I just did it, another time, maybe it would have turned out all right. But at least there, my trial run on that, it failed. Now if we come over here to this base, I ended up digging this out here, so that we can see that indeed this is successfully. Here we go. Green underneath here. The drone, I'm not exactly how far I got the drone here. I'm not sure if it was based off of where I was standing or where the drone was. Sorry about that. Whoa. But we still have a red corner here. But we do our green over here. So this is the only way I was getting just this like this before is when I had my variants where I had chopped, pretty much chopped off all the terminal, the hangar, just chopped off that whole end of extras there, and just had the 50 by 70 pad, even without the extended fortifications on the end, just these little extensions. Everything was basically just chopped off to as close to that pad as possible, and then I would occasionally have a whole bunch of the base be red, or just a little corner be red. But it's entirely possible after this experience, especially here, that it could be that when I was spawning it, the amount of the base that was red might have been determined significantly by how far away it was from me at the time of it being spawned. Which would explain that why one of my illustrations before, I want to say it's right somewhere around halfway through that pad, you would have, and it wouldn't be just this nice red line that way, it kind of would make kind of a V on this stuff. And I'm guessing that was because of where I typically would be standing when I spawned the base. And so the variances might have been just the minor variances in how far I actually was at that final moment. So yeah, so here I'm not sure. It could be that I got a little better here because the drone was partway up here. I couldn't get that far up. The drone only goes so far before you get the warning about getting out of range. But this one here, it looks like I am going to have to come up with perhaps some small vessels with the intention that I would fly them up over where I intend to build the base and use them to then position my character so that when I then spawn the base I can get a nice green base. But that, I think as much as that feels a little out of place and a little backwards to have to do that, because there would really be potentially not much other function of those small vessels, so I'm either going to have to get creative and give them some other function with the hidden bonus that they can do, help position me to spawn the base, or that's all their purpose is just to position me to spawn the base. My preference is to give them some sort of thematic fit into the collection, and then have them just have that added bonus that I can get out of the cockpit while it's hovering there, and then spawn in my base where I want it for a nice, good, structurally sound base. Okay, well that was my quick little thoughts here. I wanted to show in demonstration my appreciation for the counsel and advice. Have a good day.